Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make a meatloaf in the crock pot. Now we've made a meatloaf before, but we've never made a meatloaf in the crock pot. And as usual, I was, scouring different recipes and so on and so forth. And I saw this. I said, "Wow, all right, that'll be good because we have a lot of our followers like crock pot recipes. But this is the first time I've made it, so we're going to be making it together. All right. So now I just want to talk about the crock pot a little bit because in the recipe it recommends using a crock pot liner. I've never used one of these, so that's another new thing we're going to discover. And I guess the good thing about it is that once it's done, it's supposed to keep the crock pot clean, but then we'll be able to lift it out easily instead of having to go in there and I'll lift out the meatloaf. But all right, so this is a 6-quart crock pot. It's a meatloaf, so we need meat. Okay, so I've got 2 pounds of, I'm using meatloaf mix. That's a combination of ground beef, ground pork, and ground veal. Now, you can use all ground beef. You could use all ground pork. You might even be able to use ground chicken or turkey in it if you don't eat red meat. But I haven't experimented with that. So if you do that, I can't guarantee the results. Of course, with the meatloaf, we need some breadcrumbs. So I've got seasoned breadcrumbs here, okay? Now, I've modified the original recipe that I found a little bit because it's a crock pot dish, so I wanted to make it as much as a one-pot recipe as I could, and so that there wasn't a lot of prep, cutting onions and so on and so forth. So I have opted to use dried onions. Now, let me say I will put the... for instance, this calls for 3 tablespoons of chopped onion or minced onion. So I'll put those in the recipes, but then I'll also put in the recipe what I actually used. So I've got some dried onions, all right? And then also to cut the prep time, I use some already, chopped up garlic. And again, I'll put that in the recipe, the amount that it calls for. Of course, you need some eggs. So we've got 2 large eggs. All right. We need some milk. We got some whole milk. All right. I will take care of those eggs in a minute. But so in this bowl, I have our breadcrumbs and the seasoning. It calls for a teaspoon of seasoned all salt, and it calls for some freshly ground black pepper. So that's all in that bowl, and it calls for Worcestershire sauce. Now, we're going to make a glaze with it as well. So the glaze consists of some good balsamic vinegar. I've got dark brown sugar. The recipe called for light brown sugar. I didn't have any light brown sugar, so I'm going to use dark brown sugar. It calls for some Dijon mustard. And again, I'll put that in the recipe, either light or dark, whatever you want. And then we need some ketchup. So that's going to make our sauce. So I've got that all in this container. All right. So I'm going to try to do this all at once so we don't have to stop. All right. So in my large bowl, I've got the 3/4 cup of whole milk. I've got the Worcestershire sauce. Let's put the eggs in there. And actually, I should get a fork. Cut me a little bit easier. Let's mix those up a bit. And basically, it calls to put all the rest of your dry ingredients, so that's the breadcrumbs, your seasoning. If you were using minced onion and mixed garlic, you would put that all in there as well. And it says to make it into a paste. I don't know how much of a paste it's going to make, but make sure we got the sides. All right. It's a paste. It'll thicken up a little bit, I'm sure, as the breadcrumb absorbs everything. All right, and then we got our meat. And then we want to get in there and mix it all together. Now I don't have it, and I haven't made it in a while, which I do want to make a good batch of it. My own breadcrumb mix, I just used seasoned breadcrumbs. But Wade will put a link there to our seasoned breadcrumb mix, and it really is delicious. But I didn't have enough bread to make a batch of it for this, so. Yeah, that's coming together. I'm going to set that aside just for a moment. All right, the gloves did help it make a little bit less messy. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. And we've got our glaze. So like I said, I've got our ketchup, our Dijon mustard, our brown sugar, and our balsamic vinegar. And we'll give it a mix. It smells delicious. Now, of course, you could use your favorite barbecue sauce because this is essentially what it is. So just get that all mixed together. Let's set that aside for a minute. All right, I'm going to clean up our mess, and we will be back and finish up our meatloaf and get it in the pot. See you in a bit. All right, guys, so we got our sauce all mixed up. We got our meatloaf mix. I added a little bit more breadcrumbs. So I'm going to say, I'll put in the recipe 3/4 of a cup to a cup, all right? I guess it's going to depend upon, you know, how you like it. But to me, it didn't seem like it was making it stiff enough to actually kind of pick it up and form it into anything. So here goes. So I've just kind of, let's do that again. So I'm just going to try to kind of make it into almost like a football or a little loaf in here. Pick it up. Oh, not too bad. And put it in our crock pot. Warm it up a little. That's not too bad. That looks okay. All right, and then we got our sauce, and look, we got a little piece of meat there. Yeah. We got our sauce. It says to pour the whole thing in there. Seems like a lot to me, but and to coat it around. All right. So again, this is one of those things, if you were going to make this for an evening meal, you definitely could get this prepared the night before. Put it in put the meat in the refrigerator, covered of course. All right, so then it says to cover it and to cook it on low for 6 hours. I'm going to put mine at 6:30 just in case we're not right here at 6. All right, and put it aside, and I'm assuming within the next couple of hours, that's going to be filling up your house with delicious meatloaf flavor. All right, we'll see you. Well, right now our time is about 1:15, so we'll see you in 6 hours. Ciao. No, not ciao. See you in 6 hours. All right, guys, we're back 6 hours later, and I'm starving. It's smelling absolutely delicious, so I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to unplug it so I can move it a little closer. Now, I'm going to try to take it out of the crock pot with a couple spatulas. Hopefully this will work. I thought maybe I'd lift it up, but then I'm going to have to get the bag off, and then all the juice is going to go all over, right? So I think we should be able to get it. I can get it with this one. Get under there. Okay, there we go, almost. I think I got it, yay! It's stuck to the bag a bit, but all right, we did it. As I said, it smells absolutely wonderful. It's held together. All right, so now I would recommend you let that cool down a little bit, say 5-10 minutes, all right, just for ease of slicing. And we're going to do that, get some pictures, and then we're going to eat. See you in a little bit. Well, here we are again. It's dinner time. Yay! Because I'm hungry. Now, even before we taste, the only thing I think I would do different is I would maybe use a cup or maybe half of the sauce that you make for it, just because it would have been nice to have some to pour over it. And what's left in the crock pot, it's really, it's the fat from the meat and stuff, so it would be just too fatty. So, or I might even double that sauce recipe so that you can have some for, to eat with dinner, plus with that for leftovers. So, because that would have been nice with a nice meatloaf sandwich tomorrow with the.
Oh yeah.
By the way, we got a little barbecue sauce in case we need it. All right.
Might not even need it.
Yeah, well, it's true. Yeah, yeah. You go first. So this is a
my
new
goodness.
recipe. It does smell delicious.
That is delicious. That is good.
That
It's
is.
not your traditional meatloaf.
That's delicious.
It's got all the sauce is all incorporated in there.
meat.
Yeah, well, that is
It's
good.
so tender. So
It is,
All right,
yeah.
this is definitely a hit. As you can see, we got some mashed potatoes and some peas with that as well. But
That's good.
that's delicious. It's so tender. I thought it was going to fall apart, but as you saw, I did get it out of the pan relatively smoothly.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, highly recommend it.
Delicious. That's all I could say for now.
And thank you for watching our video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Check out cherryhillhomecooking.com. We'll see you in the next one.
Ciao. Thank
Bye.
you.
Well, that came out good.
That's yummy. When we both work full time and into this, it's being delicious.
Oh yeah.